You're on your fourth marriage.
I'm on my fourth marriage.
You got 4 kids?
Yes. 3 boys, 1 girl.
2 careers. You got 20 years in the military.
Yes.
You got
26
years in firefighting.
In the fire department.
Dude, you're 63?
Yes.
And I met you when you were 57, 5 years ago?
Something in
like
that nature. Yes.
Damn. Let's go
Time
back.
moves, right?
Let's go back, man.
How far back you want to go?
Childhood, man.
Oh,
how did
Jesus.
Phil become Phil, man?
Huh?
How did you become you?
Well,
Who
I
raised
was
you? Who raised you?
in
And
this
where?
country by my grandparents, believe it or not. Frederick and Mary Ann Blake, raised 1734 Kenyon Street. As far as I knew, they were my parents. There was a woman that came by and, trying not to be mean, there was a woman who came by and terrorized me for a while, but I had no clue in the world. That was my mother. I never knew my mother until she forcefully took me from my grandparents. That's when I knew my mother.
When was that? How old were you?
13, 14. That's when she took me.
So your grandparents. So your mom had you, and then she just like dropped you off.
No,
or?
I was, as far as I know, from the time my eyes were open until my mother took me, I was raised by my grandparents. And my grandparents are the ones I called mom and dad. To this day, I still call my biological mom Jerry. To this day.
Damn.
I don't have any disrespect for her, but I don't have any, I have no ill will, but I have no, like, sibling parent attachment or child parent. I don't have a parent attachment to her. I have a parent attachment to my grandmother and my grandfather and some aunts who've been very, uncles and aunts who've been very instrumental in my life, but not my mom so much. So
No father?
I don't know. I don't have a picture. I don't have a name. All I know is my mother says his first name, she thinks is Carl, and Mohammed. He's Libyan, Muslim.
And so your mother's parents raised you till you were 13. And then what happened there? Your
And
mom
then I
took
was
you and
taken out of private school, put into some school I'd never heard before, then went into public school. A series of ass whippings, very punishing ass whippings from my mom. I remember times she used to beat me and start laughing and then take a break and then come back and beat me some more. And it got to a point, I believe that's what made me what I am, because there's a point where everybody says that's the last time he ever cried. He doesn't cry anymore. He's like, I would just stand there and just take the beatings. He even got to the point where she would put alcohol and somewhat hot water in the bathtub to put me in it after she beat me because of the welts all over my body.
And why was she beating you, though?
I haven't got a clue. I believe it was
you were a
just...
teenager, right? Were you
well, I think it's
dumb things
because
like we
she
all
was
did?
not happy with either my grandparents or her mother, my grandmother. That is what I believe. The truth...
So she was just mad at the world. And
she's just mad at them for the things I've witnessed her do to my grandfather, like breaking a vase over his head and like that. So stuff happens.
So your mom was violent.
You got to look at the time.
Your biological mom.
Right. My biological mom was violent, but you also have to look at the timeline.
This is in the 70s?
This is a time when women didn't have rights. I was born in the 60s.
Right, but then you were in, it was like 70 something when she came in.
Right, but you have to still look at the timelines of things that happened. This is when women used to get beat and had no right. The police are like, okay, and you were put in your place by your husband for the most part. Seriously, I'm not playing. So you have to think about that. And for what she's done, I can't give a clear, honest answer because I'm not her to understand her feelings. I can only tell you as her own child what she physically, wrongfully did to me. That's all I can tell you.
Fair enough.
With that said, I have taken a numerous amount of beatings, from pots and pans to water hose to switches are normal to what's those things called? Steak forks, where she toss them and it sticks in my flesh, all that kind of shit. That's what I have been through.
Damn. So I would imagine you were trying to get out of there. And I'm
not as nicely as you put it, but yeah, I will leave the statement that I was trying to get out of there because of, I had enough, man. There was a time that I hugged my mom and broke her ribs. She said, hug me how you feel. And that was my feeling. To crush her is my feeling. And I broke her ribs. And I was a teenager then. I've watched my brother numerous times do stuff to my mom.
So you have siblings?
Yes.
That part.
Yes.
Okay. So how many siblings?
3 other brothers and a sister. So it's 5 of us total.
Both older, younger? Are you the oldest? You the youngest?
Actually, I'm second to the oldest. So there's my brother Roy, then myself, then Yvette. No, then Vincent, Yvette, and Chris. So Chris.
All from the same dad or different dads? Or
everybody with the exception of Yvette and Chris have different dads. We all have different dads. Okay. Roy was raised by his father, Vince by his father, me by my grandparents. Yvette was taken by her father, and Chris was raised by my mother. Right. So it tells you the conglomeration of mentalities, education, standards, character, and a few other things. Yeah. It really tells you. Now, mine is different. Mine, I've went down this somewhat noble, just trying to get the out without getting destroyed, went to the military. Because it was that or jail.
Yeah. How old? So were you 19, 18?
No,
18?
I just got out of high school.
17?
Just got out of high school.
Yeah.
Lied on my application. Just got out of high school. Went into the military and vamoosed.
What did you sign up with the Army?
I signed up to the Air Force.
Air Force, okay.
Because I was smart.
Yeah.
But I also signed up to do some things.
If you want to like lean back and stuff,
just take it with
casually, just bring it with you.
Okay. I signed up to do some things that are not part of the Air Force, that were different brand. And I've done some things. I've had some fun.
You know, I've heard. I remember the COVID summer 2020, whatever that was, when nobody was going anywhere. I remember telling my wife, all right, I'm going over to Phil's. And we had some talks. And we can dive as deep as you want to, but that...
Well, there's so many things that I can't say as far as the military is concerned. I can tell you when I switched back over to something, when I switched over to a different thing, but there are so many things I'm not allowed to say for what I've done. There's a lot of...
you probably don't even want to say them either.
Actually, I don't have that mindset. I mean, after going through all the therapists I've gone through, you know,
I hear you.
You take reality. You just take responsibility of the reality of the that you've done, however you want to title it, whether under military, the government, however you've done it. One thing I've learned about the military, they know how to. Once they cut you on, the problem is they don't know how or ever take the time. To cut you off, and that's where you had the problems. And then I've gone from military to fire department. Somewhat
pause one
still.
Sec.
Yes.
When you say cut you off, what do you mean by that?
When you do things to people and it's deemed okay, there are certain standards in life we're all born with. You don't go into trying to kill anybody. You don't try to do stealing. We all have a little bit as we grow. We take, what's the word I'm looking for? We take risks as kids, see if we can get away with this. This ain't no risk. This is different. When things are shot from you and things are coming back to you. And when you're doing things, looking people in their eyes, it's a whole different outcome. So it's a different set of standards that have been eliminated in your life. That's what everybody else grows up with. You go to church and learn about it, thou shalt not kill, steal, blah, blah, blah. But some things when you cross the line enough times, there's no longer a line.
Have you killed someone before?
I'd rather not answer that, but for the sake of this podcast with you, yeah.
Okay. Again, we don't have to go there. But let's just slow down for a sec. So you sign up for the military. First thing you do, you want to get the fuck out, like you said. Get the fuck out. Do something.
But I already had the mindset.
So Air Force. Why do you choose? Okay, so why do you choose the Air Force?
He chose me first. That guy hit me faster than anybody else.
Okay.
My parents at that time, Sherry was living, my stepfather and my mother were living on Irvin Street. And I just literally passed underneath the walk-through, and the guy from the recruiting center just jumped out at me.
Yeah.
He said,
Okay.
"You look like a very viral young man, like you could do this." He said, "You look like you could do so and so and such." I'm like, "Okay." He said, I know that you can do this. You look like you're strong, fearless, blah, blah. I said, "Well, I'm smart too. I'm not just, So that made him say, "Okay, let's do this." And I took the test. I got into this. I got into that. And I did this. And then after doing this for a period of time, we've done our time. You can do some time where it's not active, but I chose to stay in the active, but I just kind of slid over to a different thing that's not so violent. Okay. So
hold on, but you joined the Air Force, and then they found out
you
had certain skills, so they have you on this special. Were you like special ops? Is that
special forces?
Special forces.
Yes.
Okay, so they're like, all right, this guy's a
training.
This guy's a beast.
Fun.
Right.
I'm not allowed to say too much because of the things we've done during that time. Because even my brain, I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was peace times. There's never peace times in the United States. There's always something going on in the background. United States, although I will say with guilt in my heart, is the best place on earth. The United States is a bully, man. They do a lot of underhanded shit, and you learn it in the military.
I've heard.
Yeah.
My buddy was in the Navy for 20 years. And he's like, dude, you don't even know. Nobody knows. 99% of the United States population doesn't know what we do.
But you have to look. Every country on this planet puts so much money in education, health, blah, blah, blah. The United States, all the money, the resources, 90 or 80% of it, if not more, is put into just military. And whenever the United States has ever gone into a, what do you call it? We're in a recession. We're in a what do they call we're going into?
Crazy times?
Yeah, but more than that, where the money is like recession. But every time the United States has gone into that, what happens? We get involved in a war because a war generates cash. Think about it.
Yeah.
Just go look through history.
Yeah.
It's what generates money, the United States ways.
Yeah.
It's what generates money.
Yeah.
Right. We're mass industry.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
So
there's
tell me about the special forces though. Like,
the training.
It was you were in a Navy SEAL, but you were something. Were you like Air Forces?
Pararescue.
Pararescue?
Yes.
Okay.
Pararescue.
Okay. All right. I'm like tiptoeing around this little thing. We're talking about pararescue.
Pararescue.
Okay. How long did you do that?
The entire time. Except for when we've done so many missions and they think your brain, because you take these wild ass psychological tests every time you come back, that to me, I don't know how the hell they can tell anything, because the questions that they would ask is things like, why don't you love your mom? When you stand on the edge of a building to think and looking over, what flower do you smell? I'm like, what? I'm being honest.
So these are psych tests.
These are psych tests.
Psych tests.
But those are the questions. And you're like, huh? And they're not like a 5-minute test. I mean, they put you in this ice cold, isolated room for the entire day. Some of these questions are 700. Some of them are 1,000. Some of them are 300. Some of them
700 at a time, 300 at a time.
You're right. There's a lot of questions, a ton of questions asking you.
You can curse, by the way. I can just like bleep it out.
Okay, I'm trying to cause you no more work than me is necessary. But you can't. I mean, it's a lot of like when you're in battle. What flower do you smell? And I know for a fact, if I smell roses, I'm dead. It's a certain gas that they sent out. You understand? Because it smells like, but that's not what it's going to do. I'm like, I don't smell shit. But seriously, it is amazing, the questions.
So you go, so did you like fail one and they're like, all right.
Never failed the test. I always listen to the doctor come back and say, you need to be in college. You're very bright, blah, 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 blah. You're clear. I'm like, okay. And then I go back and do whatever again. And we did that for a period of time. And then we're taken out of combat. We're put into, like for me, I went into lab now. I'm a lab tech. I'm quiet.
How long into this 20-year? journey are
That
right
is the
now?
rest of what I did until I left. And then even when I got the fire department job, I was active, inactive.
Oh,
Okay.
like reserve or
Yes.
Or, yeah,
but
okay.
active, inactive. I'm active, but I'm inactive.
Yeah, I got
Right.
you.
So I'm still getting paid while I'm doing it. And that's how that works.
Okay. So what made you stop after the 20 years? Because
20 years. There's nothing more to do. I'm going into a new career. I just ignorantly got married to a woman I shouldn't have, but I did. So it's not her fault alone. It's mine. So I did all that stuff because you live in a life that you're already on the edge. You don't give a about nothing. I don't care. I really got to that point I didn't care. If it wasn't for the brothers I met going through lab school, being in that particular POL, being in that particular part, good brothers to this day, those brothers helped me get through because they recognize I have a mental problem. They recognized it. But we were all close together. And they seemed to buffer my ignorance when I would start, when people would just, because you were always on, in my brain, I was always on alert. There was no way for me to cut that off. And that's where I mean by, once they put you and thrust you in this environment, it's not like you come back and someone says, okay, we're going to slow you, bring you down and cut you off and get you back to civilization. That's not how that works. I don't care what debriefing you give me. It's not that kind of debriefing. And so when you bring me back into civilization, I'm still on high alert. I've talked to so many guys who've gone recently, been in the military and come out to see the stare. We all had that same stare into space through people kind of look, but to hear their comments, it's the same way. They don't know how to shut it off. It's on. You came back to a peaceful, somewhat civilized environment.
Civilized. You don't know how to adjust
You don't know how to adjust
civilization. That's why. And
you
I
don't.
mean,
People walk up on you, and your first thought is, "I need to kill you." Seriously, man, woman, or child, I need to kill you because when you came from, nobody was on your side, and even the children were used against you. So you thinking everybody's like that. It doesn't matter. Even if I see my own family, my first response is to draw away, not to be included.
Yeah.
That's my first response.
Do you think that's because of what you were doing in your paratrooper experience,
PR?
or do you think that's like a kind of a wide range of most of the military has? Because you hear that 22.
That's the military. If you've been doing this a while, there's a gentleman I just saw him on. I watch this crazy show with my wife every night, TMZ. But he's ex-military. He wrote a book on how his brain operates now. It's amazing. But he also wrote it because he was coming from, I think he had like a disease at the same time that's affected his brain. But he was also in the military. I think it was a colonel or something. But how he thought. And it's amazing. A lot of us have that same thought pattern, but we don't have the disease. But we have the same thought pattern. Mm-hmm. It's hard. You see somebody, even my wife, and I love her greatly, but my wife's Dominican. So when she talks, it's a lot with her hands. You know how many times she's gone with me to therapy to hear the lady say, when you do this, you can see because they have my brain hooked up to this machine, you can see his neurons. They go crazy. He's trying to decipher, are you friendly or are you foe? And that's my wife. Think about that. That's my wife. And I love her greatly. But the way it comes in my brain, and this is the hardest thing I've had to get her to change in her life and understand, is I don't have the normal responses you would have. Your daughter runs to you and you're like, oh. My daughter runs to me and I'm like, and I'm trying to not show that, at the same time embrace what's happening, at the same time make sense of what I see and what my head is telling me. because my head is telling me something totally different.
Are you talking to anyone? You just mentioned, or a few minutes ago, you mentioned talking to guys that are just coming out of the military.
Yeah,
you see
they
that
go through the
stare.
same
Are you
thing.
doing any help with? Or
I talk to them. I recommend. I've been to how many psychologists have I been? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like number 7. It's funny. The number 7 is just a, and I hope she hears this. She will not take it in any offense, but just a very polite, sweet ass old woman with a very nice ass lady with a raspy voice, Beth. She hooks your mind, your brain to these electrodes, to this computer, and for whatever the she does, as she showed Dee Dee, here's his neurons. They're this way. The normal neurons. He's constantly trying to make sense out of things, constantly, because of how what's normal and how his brain now takes it. It's different than how your brain will take the same situation my brain will take. And watch this lady literally bring my from this to like this, literally. And after she's done, it's constantly fluxing to keep me sane and keep me from being volatile. That's my biggest issue, being volatile.
Right.
Because I'll go someplace and I try to recognize the situation before it gets there, but if I don't and it happens, I've been out of control a lot. A lot. When my friends in the military stopped me from killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Killing people.
Like friends.
Not friends. Nobody's that stupid. But my friends have stopped me from killing other people.
That
I didn't know. Something as simple as we're in the park and someone steps on my hand. And I stand up. I'm ready.
Damn.
I don't care.
Do you think that's just because of the DNA in you? You think
I
that's
don't
from
think
your
it's
childhood,
the DNA.
or you think it's from the military?
I think it's the military.
Yeah.
Because even with what I've gone through, I never had the thought to go after anybody. I have the thought every day to kill people, every single day. But that little old lady has changed a ton of that. Seriously.
How long you been seeing her?
Since year for last.
Okay.
In June. She was recommended by a psychologist that I saw that I literally put hands on. He's not the first.
Yeah.
Right, that I put hands on. Trying to get in my head is very dangerous. But 2 ladies, one Beth with a very raspy voice who's so kind and loving it's disarming. And then Dr. Esty. Any guy in the
Dr.
military.
Esty?
Esty. Any man or woman in the military, I highly recommend her. Dr. Esty, brain wellness and neurofeedback. They have made a big change. I actually, in December, I was the keynote speaker for PTSD in that regard. Seriously. My wife posted it because she posts everything.
Like
everything. I went from being unknown because all of us in the military don't really want to be known till I'm all over the social media and I'm like, ah. But nonetheless, she posted it.
Sure. So then you go to your firefighting department. Why do you choose firefighting? Was it like,
I was working for a company actually called Rommel Electric. I was putting up traffic lights and street lights and traffic lights. Seriously. And I just one day, I'm like, in doing the job, I just inquired, what the heck is that tower? So I went and inquired, filled out application. That was it. That's all it took. A week later, I got something in the mail, said we want to come in for a physical. Came in for this, took a written exam first, passed, then took the next thing. Then took another exam where they tell you where the place is, see if you can find it. And then you sit down between these board members, and it was just really a common sense type of thing. Like,
And this is in the early 90s? I'm trying to gauge.
no, this was before the night. This was 89.
89?
Actually, this was 88 because I got the job in 89.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old when you started to be a
youngster. Let me tell you.
Don't you have sons my age?
How old are you?
Like 37.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to gauge like where we are right now, dude.
Oh man, I have a son 35 and one 33.
Okay, yeah. Right.
And
right
then
there.
a 16 and 12-year-old. Isn't that something? The 12-year-old, how I have him is remarkable as well. Even my baby girl. But nonetheless,
yeah.
That is how all of this began. But
so with the firefighting, I'm just curious now. So now we're in the firefighting. Well, like did you learn anything? Did you grow from it? What was 26 years is a lot of years of dealing with.
It's the same thing.
You deal with the crazy.
But it's the same thing. You're dealing with the crazy. One side, if I can say this over the air, is you're taking life. The second side is you're more or less saving and or sustaining life. There's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Still the craziness. I've watched some people do some crazy. I watched people do some crazy to themselves and take their own life. I'm serious. My very first time out of the academy, got a designated station. I remember had a building fire, a house fire, and then had an accident on Georgia Avenue with two guys. One guy picked up this young girl, pretty girl, 16 years old, enjoying her life. Picked up by some knucklehead. They were coming down Georgia Avenue going to play chicken on Georgia, and neither one of them were afraid, so they hit each other head on. Bam! She gets ejected from the vehicle. 16 years old. That was my first call I remember it was 10:17 at night. At night.
Your first call is to show up to a place where
Accident.
a 16-year-old flew
Georgia
out of a car
at nighttime. And then it started from there. That's the first call, big call. Now I had it was my first big call.
First big call, yeah.
And then came the house fires and the building fire at nighttime.
Did you like it?
I loved that shit.
Yeah.
I loved that shit.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
You're coming in to like save. You're not coming in to attack.
But it's still the same mentality.
What do you mean by that?
It's still the same mentality. You're walking into an unknown. You hear what's said, but you're still walking into an unknown. You're doing the same thing we did in the military. You get there, you look around, you are doing a sweep. You get a great idea of what you're walking into. You know it's nothing positive. Same thing in the fire department. You get a great idea. You come in, you make a sweep. You look over the area, see what you have, see things that are hazards to yourself, to them, blah, 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 blah. Whether it be grenades, whether it be people with guns, whether it be glass, whether it be gasoline heading down to fire, you're looking at what the potential hazards are before you walk in. So you get a great idea. I'll take some. You get a great idea of what you're walking into. And yeah, it's the same mentality. Because I've even walked into things where people were doing things to each other, where they're literally carving each other's ass up. It was Dominicans, I think it was, at night right there on Piney Branch Road. Before they changed, the police came in and changed up that area.
So how does that work? So you got the police and the fire, right? Two departments. The police, I would imagine you probably over the 26 years had stepped in and maybe tried to de-escalate a situation or try to control someone. Compared to what the police do.
Yeah,
because the police, that's their responsibility. But
fire police don't come in and de-escalate. I don't want to say anything disrespectful to them. I take my hat off to them. I've gone through recruit school with them. I saw there were individuals I got to meet before recruit school. Both fire and police were in the same building. And then you talk to them a few weeks or months later, and they're completely different people. They're brainwashed. But I understood it because if you talk to anybody in my family that saw me on the first time I got to come home from the military, I was brainwashed. You're brainwashed. It's a different mentality, completely. In the military, we weren't there to de-escalate, to take over. In the fire department, we're not here to de-escalate, but we're not here to escalate. We're here to figure out what's going on, take the best course of action to save lives, mitigate the situation, move on. Police have their own thing, and I'm not going to sit here to pretend like I do, but a lot of cops don't de-escalate. Like, for instance, you come into a domestic thing, and a lot of people are laughing what I'm about to say, but to see a woman take her stilettos and put it in her husband's head, and I mean literally, it's sticking in her husband's head, the stilettos, all right? And she just hit him a few times because the holes are there. And we separate them. Somebody talks to the husband, someone talks to the wife in separate rooms. Can't argue, you guys are. Police will bring you back in the same room, have you talk then where they're fighting each other, and now the cops are telling everybody, shut the up, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work like that. We have the same law that the police have, that once you hit 911 and we come, we own your property. You don't, we do.
That's the warrant, is the code.
That's the law in the code.
Right.
When you hit 911, police or fire, we now own your property. So for instance, if there's fire codes in your house that are wrong, for instance, smoke detectors, you can't put us out until you go get smoke detector and put one in your house where it's supposed to be. That's why we carry them, so we'll put them on for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
But the police have the same code. Once they get you call 911, they come out, they own it. The only difference is when we talk to you, we say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no sir, blah blah blah. You don't have anybody walking in, and let's be honest, they're walking in with a negative. They have a gun already. They're here. Same thing like when we had our assault rifles. We had our M16s. We were carrying. There's nothing positive about that when you see us, okay? And then you have people telling you, shut the f***, sit down in your own. You're like, who the f*** are you to tell me to do whatever in my... So they get that feedback, and then they bump heads, and that's where it hits the fan. And a lot of times you'll hear us say, hey, look. We're going to take her or him out here and talk to them while you talk to them. Now, Montgomery County is one of the few places we all back each other up, police and fire. I'm not saying they do anything wrong or we put it on paper as they did right, but we'll talk to each other. We back each other up. So with that being said, it turns into a better outcome most of the times. We'll say, instead of you taking her, we'll take her. But we do things to back each other up. Because remember, they're taught this way, and I'm not pretending like I know their way. I'm just telling you how I've met the individuals and they changed, and we're taught this way. This is from
recruit school. 89, when you signed up until
I came out of recruit school almost a year later.
No, but I'm saying, like, when did your career end?
Oh, my career ended in 2013.
So 89 to 2013 is your experience, because from 2013 to 2024,
it's different.
There's a lot of different kind of.
But I have a lot of friends in the FD, so I'm listening to them. I also have a lot of friends in the military, and a lot of friends who do what we did in the military in civilian life. So it's a wild change of events to hear that people are doing stuff as civilians in other parts of the world doing what we did as military.
Right.
More money, tax-free. Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because I've even talked to my wife about it. She's like, no, you're too old, you blah, blah, blah. The chances of
you talking about like citizen's arrest? What are you talking about?
Oh,
exactly?
Hell no, man. That's not what we're talking about. Okay. And I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but
no one's getting. There are no names. You notice how I've said. You notice how I said my wife this whole time.
Right.
We're not naming names. No names, baby.
But the same way, it's like, hey, you keep that shit quiet because these guys go. I mean, I talk to them. Like I'll talk to them. They'll call me randomly at any given time of the day, night, and morning, because where it is there and when they can call.
You talking about guys in the fire department? What are we talking about?
Guys in the military.
Military. They're still in it.
They're still in it, but they're doing what we did in the military as civilians.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Paid.
I'm following it now.
Now you catch it.
Now I'm following it because I
hear them and talk to them at whatever given time they call them. Like, where you at? Can't tell you. What you doing? Can't tell you. I'm like, got you. And then to hear them say, I'm like, dude, is that, yeah, man, I'm thinking about retiring. These bombs are getting too close now. And you can hear him in the background.
Damn.
In the background. And they're like, it's time for me to stop doing this shit.
So you knew it was time in '89. You were like, I'm done.
I just needed to do something different. I also got caught up in other shit because people don't understand. When you do enough crazy ass shit, there's only so much your brain can handle before you start turning to things to try and make sense of it. Yeah. So in the military, I turned to weed, cocaine, acid, things like that. Trying to make sense. Trying to keep sane. And although you may say acid and shit like that, for me, it did the opposite it would do for you. It kept me sane.
Yeah.
That purple microdot kept me happy and kept me, what's the word?
Kept you sane, kept you happy. That's it. That's all you need.
But it kept me sane.
Yeah.
We go out and do shit. I'm on purple microdot.
Well, I don't know what that is. What's purple microdot?
LSD.
Oh, so you're like microdosing LSD?
Right.
Right now?
No, not now.
I was like, damn, you seem very eloquent for that shit.
Not now. Our wife would kill us.
I don't know, man. I don't know what you do. I don't know your daily medications.
But if I was on LSD right now, my wife would leave me.
Why?
Because I would be tearing her young ass up. Are you kidding me? I'm Superman now. On LSD.
I don't know. I've never done this LSD.
Man, I remember going down Silver Hill Road, heading towards Iverson Street, driving my first car. My grandmother helped me get a Capri, 4-speed. I was on LSD. I was downshifting for the light, and when I got to second gear, I pulled the thing right out the box and laughed.
The stick shift?
Yes! Pulled it right out and laughed.
You sure you weren't hallucinating on LSD?
Huh?
You sure you weren't hallucinating on LSD?
I wasn't hallucinating because it wasn't going anywhere now. So that the car was stuck right there on Silver Hill Road in front of Defense Mapping.
That's a piece of shit car, man. How you
I was in great shape.
Oh, you were Superman.
I was Superman. The LSD made me give a
yeah.
And being on LSD in the military.
Is that like speed when you hear people like, oh, that guy was on speed and you can't stop him?
Worse than speed. Worse than speed.
Or better than speed.
Better than speed. LSD is a 14-hour high. I have been to the point where I'm about to throw my guts up from the amount of alcohol in my system. And the LSD kick in, and I'll drink everything in your house now and not feel a damn thing. I'm serious. Sorry that I had to give you the whole
one.
But I'm serious. Feel no pain. None. So imagine coming home and you see your beautiful wife coming out the shower and you're on LSD. You're like, she gonna look at you like, get the off of me. You've been just bumping the shit out of me for hours. Like, do I make a difference? You be like, yeah, I can do this. I'm telling you. It's crazy. I've gone weightlifting. I've gone bungee jumping. I've done a lot of shit while I'm on LSD.
Purple dot, huh?
Oh, man.
Dang.
Please.
I never did
Scott
that.
Heron was not lying. But in the military, yeah, I took a lot of drugs. I'm not going to say we. I'm not going to incriminate, but I did because I was
while you were like
while I was
service
on with the base.
Because
I'm trying to make sense of a lot of and not hurt anybody. And I knew it was time for me to retire, although I retired on disability FD because, again, my brain was getting to that point because people do on purpose trying to make an example of you while they're trying to, because of however you represent whatever fear in their head. And this is what I had to deal with in the fire department. Nothing new. Size, because of my incredible size at that time and strength, I got that. And then I'm somewhat still rebellious. The fact that I had locks when I changed the grooming habits in the fire department, whatever. At the end of the day, it gets to a point, it's more than annoying now. And I'm sitting here, my brain is telling me, why do I need to take this shit from your ass when I can just get rid of you? Real simple. And I started to crack.
Like you said, that's just how your brain is operating. It's like,
right.
I'm not going to do what you tell me because I could just kill you.
I can just get rid of you. Yeah. I don't mind doing what you're telling me. Taking an order is taking an order.
Yeah.
That doesn't. But ignorant or trying to use me as a catapult for your career because you're scared of me doesn't mean a thing to me. I'll give you a damn good reason to be scared of me. And you should be. Because I will do it. One chief, the fire chief in Montgomery County, was smart enough to recognize that when somebody hit that right button, and he was ordered. And this is a chief telling another chief, you can't go anywhere around him. You're not even allowed in the building. He even had a friend of mine who is a fire chief sit with me one day when I was working overtime. And I'm like, why are you here? Aren't you supposed to do something? He's like, no, I'm here because I'll be right back. And that fire chief just happened to come in the building, and that's why he was there. He's like, no, I got to get you out. He says, no, I'm ordered to take you out here physically if I have to, because we know he'll do what he's planning on doing. You won't get a chance to write him up. I listened to him tell that guy that. I listened to him tell the other chief that, and he took him. He took him, and he left. And I had to ask him, is it really that serious? He said, I was ordered to be here, knowing that you would be here. This is his station, but you were here working overtime, and he doesn't need to be around you to try and antagonize you again.
This specific guy had beef with you?
No, he actually can do some damn good. But for whatever reason he felt, and I understand his feelings. I'm not going to negate his feelings. He felt he's a fire chief. I have superior over you. I don't have to take this. Yeah. What they were trying to get him is, yeah, but you already hit that right button. Phil will destroy you. He will not give a shit. He's never given a shit before. What makes you think he's going to give a shit now?
Damn.
And it's gotten to this point. I mean, I've done some wrong. I'll be honest. I'm not going to say I have a horseshoe in my ass. I'll say God's looking out for me for whatever reason. He seems to like my crazy ass. But I have walked in the fire station, and there are very few people, and I will not call their names out because they're good partners of mine too, in the fire service, who've watched me walk in the building, drinking the last bit of alcohol from a fifth, and snorting the last couple of lines off the back of my hand before I walk in. So I'm saying.
This sounds like you have medicated yourself.
I have to. I've told with all of my doctors, and I'm talking about my mental doctors, know that. I'm trying my best to live peacefully as best as I can with everybody. As best I can. Do I always succeed? Most of the time. But even my wife can tell you, you hit that right button, I'm not going to give a shit. It's not that I don't want to. I just can't. I really can't. Yeah. And then the fact that the adrenaline what's the word? I gravitate to all of it. So now I want to go along with I can't stop. Now I can't. Who would care? Because I don't care. I want to. Right.
That explains the 300 horsepower motorcycle you got. And
400.
400. Dude.
But no, it teaches my wife something. And let's be honest, my biggest foe, yours as well, is your wife. They live with you every day. They don't give a with what condition, mental attribute you're in at that moment. They're going to come with their because that's just how women are. No disrespect to any woman who can listen to this, but that's the truth. Because a woman will be the one. I understand why men kill their girlfriends' wives, because a woman will keep hitting that button because she knows the button and think you ain't going to do shit to me. And without realizing, yeah, he might. Right. Even men who are cocky have enough sense to realize I'm looking at
there are some women who kill their husbands. You hear that same story.
I realize that.
So
there are also some women who are military based, Marines, Army, Navy.
Do you think any of it has to do with from when your mom picked you up to when you left her house and all that crazy
I think
physical
it shaped
abuse?
me in some areas. Let's be honest. Everything has shaped me. I made a vow. I don't know my father. I don't know anything about my father. But I made a vow to myself. My kids will know me, good, bad, and or indifferent, but they will know me. I've always been there. I don't give a about what every ignorant ghetto woman I married and taught them this. My statement is after a certain age, she's no longer liable to manipulate your brain. That's called she you and you fell for it, but you can see for yourself. At the end of the day, I married who I married. Good, bad, or indifferent, wrong, absolutely. But I did anyway because I was in turmoil myself.
So let pause for a sec. I am curious about all that. Right.
Okay.
Your first marriage.
Oh my God.
You met her sometime in the 80s. You were in the military life. Am I accurate
I was out
there
the military.
You were out the military.
Right.
Okay.
I was during that period. I was active, inactive.
Okay.
I was working, looking for jobs. I met a friend of mine. A friend of mine took me to this girl's house on a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, and we just all hit it off. And it was a girl that no otherwise would I even have paid attention to, except for, man, she gave a good blowjob. Seriously. And the blowjob turned into more. And then the blowjob turned into coming over to hit that ass. And then the blowjob and that turned into anal and other shit I was doing. And then, her girlfriend. And then her other girlfriend. And then one day she said she loved me. And I was like, at the same time, I just wanted to get away. She caught me at the right time where I wanted to get the out of my mom's house.
So you're inactive, active, and you're kind of still your mom.
I'm fresh back out the military. I'm back in the area. I'm trying to get my stuff together. And a friend, she offered me, she said, look, I got a 3-bedroom apartment. Me and my girlfriend are there. And we have an empty room. And we can split the rent 3 ways. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, it's cool because it wasn't far from where I'm working. So I was like, it was perfect. And I was banging both of them. So it was even better than perfect. And then she was bringing home girls from work that were her friends who were like fatter than them. So I was them too. So after a while, and then one day she said, I love you. And I was like, yeah, I guess I love you. But you get caught up in shit that you're young, you're naive. And I'm not blaming her one damn bit. And I fell into it because I wanted to get away from my mother. And I had a place to stay. And everything was good.
Yeah.
I'm getting my dick sucked day and night.
She was pimping you out.
No. They're both living right there. I'm living with both of them.
You're living with them.
I'm in a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 women.
And they were cool with just
I'm banging
having
both of
orgies
them. There were no orgies.
Oh, okay.
I was one at a time. And I go to your room, take a shower, jump in your room.
They were cool with it because they obviously know what was going on.
I'm about my shit. Let's be honest about it. I'm about my
Yeah.
I got my I'm hung well and I know my pussy eating game. I'm about my I'm gonna be honest about it. So they don't have to go any place. I'm a good guy. Mm-hmm. I treat them with respect. Mm-hmm. Even when I'm banging the out of them, I treat them with respect. And we're roomies, so we have a good time. They bring stuff home. I go get it out the car. Yeah. It's like I'm married to 2 women.
And so one of those 2 women was your first wife, right?
Yes.
So how long did that crazy situation end?
It was okay.
When did y'all start a family?
Long. She already had kids, and even when I spoke to my son about being married the first time, never married a woman with kids if you don't have any. But if she has kids and you have kids, it's a whole different thing. That's just my feeling. Okay. I married a woman with drama, a whole lot of a ghetto style woman. Even my grandmother, God bless her heart, was like very clear. Get rid of her in her face. Get rid of this now. She is not for you. But because of the trauma and because of all the other shit, I wasn't thinking correctly. I didn't pay the person who actually has my best interest any attention. And the person who doesn't have my best interest, also my real mother, said the exact same thing. I didn't pay it any attention. I'm not blaming them. My ignorance cost me a lot of wasted time, energy, and money. But I have two gorgeous sons out of it, and I would never to know that I would have them. I go through that hell all over again, just to have them.
Your boys.
Now, if I could have all my children with one woman, and if I could name the woman, it would have to be Dee Dee right here, right now, because Dee Dee is amazing. She understands me, and the times that she has crossed that line with me, regrettably, she's paid the price for it, but she's paid for it with me not full blast. She's paid for it with me already seeking help. So it's more or less like, I don't want to do this. And I'm trying my best not to do this. But with that said, she has always been in my corner, and she has been the person that says, wait a minute, he's going to snap if I need to get him out of here. She recognizes that.
Yeah.
She's also the one that says, I see your eyes. Let's talk. She recognizes. So you can't really, I can't take that away from her. And then I have a beautiful son, because Dee Dee I fell in love with even before I married Angela. I knew Dee Dee a long time before I married Angela.
Who's Angela?
Angela was my third wife.
So let's pause. Let's keep it sequential here. We got the first.
Okay, cheers. We got the first one is Angela. I mean, it is Dorinda.
We don't need to do names, but yeah, that's fine.
Okay, boy's mom.
Whatever.
Not just boy. Just hit.
Oh, you're good there.
I know.
First. Cheers, brother. Thanks for coming over. This is fun.
Always, man. This is fun.
Man. I love this shit, dude.
I love the green room.
Yeah.
The green light room.
It's red on your side. I was like, babe, I'm gonna hit Phil with the red in the background because I know he's got some.
Well, I'm a porn star, so let's do this. I'm in my bedroom. I'm a porn. Don't laugh. Years ago.
Is red the color of porn stars?
Yes. For the red
I thought red was the color of like fierce.
In the red light
don't mess
districts.
with me.
I've been all over the world in the military. That's a red light district.
That's true.
Government issued.
See, I knew that.
Pussy.
I knew that.
Government issued pussy. I don't want to say it too loud because it's seriously.
Whatever, man. She's cool. Okay, sorry. So first wife, got that crazy living situation. You move out. Maybe she grows up. Maybe you do. Maybe a little bit enough to be like, actually, let's start a family.
She went religious, and I kind of followed down that with her because at the same time you're trying to find sense with what's in your brain, which you believe is also in your heart. So I'm not taking anything away from her. It was a learning experience. Every situation, everyone, and I'm not negating any of the women, has been a learning experience for me and a stepping stone further into the moving in the right direction in life. I learned someplace I don't ever want to be again with the boy's mom. No disrespect to her. I just learned someplace I don't ever want to be again. The second wife, Kimberly, wonderful girl. Wonderful. And yeah, you bleep the names out. It'd be nice. She still lives in this area. I see her periodically.
Well, let me ask you. So that's kind of what I'm curious when it comes to being a husband, marriage, and all that. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from the first wife?
Here's what I learned. Number one, you have to marry somebody who is on the same page and has resources beyond a six block radius of where they grew up. If you're myopic, if only you've read all you know is this, your experiences and all the things you can draw from only come from this. But if you've gone to different parts of the world, seen different people, experienced different things, you have so many other your resources to draw from what you like as in a woman, a partner, as a man, as a person. So many other is vast as compared to right just here. Don't ever choose that person. I'm not kicking her. I wasn't too far beyond that myself. If it wasn't for my grandparents at the time who've taken me pretty much all over the world, and then the military for what I've done, yeah, all over the world, but it's not there to enjoy yourself. You understand? Mm. I wouldn't see different things, know different people, things of that nature, British, Panamanian, so on and so on and so forth, as opposed to just northwest, southeast, northeast, and southwest people in D.C. Am I making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can your experience in life only goes as far as you throw a rock. And if you decide to pick up a rock and get on a plane, now it goes further. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I was that naive myself. And in doing that, I've learned. Even when my children have asked, Dad, I'm thinking of getting married. I'm like, don't ever think about getting married until you're about 30. Go out. Get your education. And that includes college. Go get the job you want. Travel. Buy your own. Buy the house you want. The car you want. Live, save. Then go see some good women who are more than just, as I've told my boys, more than just black. Excuse me. I know that I just told you listeners I'm a black guy, but I'm not really. I'm Jamaican and Libyan, so I'm not really black. I'm a mixture.
We'll
get back to that.
Okay.
Right. But with that said, I don't want my children living in this world. If you have a black mom, you have to have a black wife. No. Go out and experience. The best thing in your life may not be black. It may not be white either. It might be Italian. Might be Hindu. Might be from Panama. Might be Filipino. You don't know. Go experience. Learn something for yourself. So that's what I tell my sons, even my daughter. Go out and experience things. Learn first before you make that commitment. My position as a father is to make sure that person loves you. Mm-hmm. That's all I care about. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you marry a boy and you're my son. I don't care if you marry a girl, you're my daughter. I care about what makes you happy, and then I care about that person and how they make you. That's where I go. That's where I end it. If they love you, I love you. They hate you, as simple as that. But if they love you, I need to know you love them too. And if you love my daughter or my son, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. So all this other stuff about religion and blah, 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 I get it. But not one time have I ever seen God dismiss himself from people who were not doing right. He sat with them and talked to them. So for me, coming from a religious background, to hear that I got to not go to your wedding because you're marrying same sex is absurd. I'm going. Has nothing to do with supporting you. You my child. This isn't about the world. It's about my child. I'm going to support my child. After that, right, you know where I sit. Yeah. You know that my father really doesn't want me to marry another woman or marry a guy. He doesn't want that. But damn if he don't love the two of us like it's the best shit ever in his life. It's your choice, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah, so, right. Dude, that's beautiful, man. I love it.
We'll see.
What?
I mean, it's the world we live in.
Yeah, but I those are powerful words, man. That's really
it's
cool.
True though,
because we all care about our kids, like
to a point.
Like
I've learned some people to a point. When you cross that point of what you believe as a father or a parent or a mother, what you believe is crossing the line, and it's usually the same sex. And I get it. Years ago, this wasn't open. I grew up in the 60s. None of this was in the open. Mm-hmm. But I do understand the mindset. I've been with a lot of friends. I got a lot of gay friends. I do. Mm-hmm. I've slept with two girls who are the most prettiest girls on the planet I ever met in my life. They don't like us. They like each other. They married each other. And I've slept in the bed naked with them. Mm-hmm. Been respectful. Yeah. It was amazed. Wish to God I've married both. I would be happy. Anyway.
All right. So yeah, a whole different thing.
But my statement being, just to watch love. I've even had guys who have been in the same bed with them and slept because that's all they got. I'm there. We're drunk. Nothing happened. At the end of the day, people are people. Mm-hmm. I've watched it. If you go, what's that market in Southeast? Is it the farmer's market where they have they're one of the few places to outside theater, but they do it on the wall of the building. And you can sit in your car, your truck, and watch it on the ground. I watched gay couples in Southeast. I think it's Northeast. I think it was Northeast.
Somewhere in D.C.
Right. I watched gay people sit together, and I'm sitting there amazed. They were more loving to each other than a man and a woman. And that shit fucks with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why can't I be like that with you? And so I'm like, love is love at the end of the day, man.
That's right.
People are just looking for someone to just love them.
Yeah, dude. So what happened with your first marriage doesn't work out?
No, because it was never meant to be. And she
Okay.
was on her own. Like, she just quit her job. Make more. I just got the FD job. I just got it. You make more, because she worked for a great company, making great money. Not good money, great money. And she just dropped that because two of her friends who just got married and they all just starting out with no kids, no nothing. Their husbands say they don't have to work. So I don't want to work either. But I'm like, well, we start out with your two sons first. I need you to work. I just got this job. I'm not bringing home that kind of money yet.
Right.
Right. She didn't give it. Her statement is, you will work as many jobs as you have to make ends meet. And I'm like, but I want to spend as much time with my sons that you had for me, thankfully, as I did with your sons. So, no. I even created a business so I could be with my sons, all four of them, because I considered the first two also mine. They were good boys.
Oh, her sons.
Right. I considered them mine too. I took care of them.
How old were they when you met her?
They
and all
were
that?
3 or 4.
Okay. And then how much longer, or when were your sons?
17, and one was graduating high school. The other was going to be graduating high school.
Yeah.
Right. When we went our separate ways.
When you split up, yeah.
Yeah.
So then what happened with the second one? How did you meet the second wife, and how long between
The second
your...
one was a school teacher at the boys' school. Real pretty, real shapely, real sexy. Again, she was actually seeing somebody. And no disrespect to her, I did not pay attention to the red flags. Okay? But I did learn something from her. She really was a push. Her ex-husband, who she went back and married, great guy. Him and I got along great, being honest about it. Because I genuinely loved his son. I got this thing. A child has nothing to do with any of y'all or our ignorance. A child has nothing to do with that. So my thing is to buffer them and to be sweet and loving and kind to children, whoever they are, that's under my roof. That's it. But I won't take any disrespect. I've also whipped kids that are not mine. Like, no, you will not smack your mom in my house. That's not how this is going to be. Mm-hmm. So, excuse me. With that said, I have this love for kids. So I couldn't do anything to them when I saw them. They were good kids. I just didn't treat them like, one was treated better than the other because one looked like their mom, the other one looked like the father. So the one looked like their father got better treatment than one that looked like the mom. But in my house, nobody got anything better. And the one who wasn't getting what the older brother got, he was amazed getting what the older brother got in my house.
Are we talking about, you lost me.
Talking to two boys that she had prior.
Okay.
Right. So as they grew up, I always made sure that...
You're talking about your second wife now?
The first one.
Oh, okay, okay. We were going back to the first one.
The second one had a single son.
Okay.
And I won't say his name.
Yeah.
Wonderful boy. Beautiful boy. But the way mentally she thought about him is something she went through, that's why she's seeing... I even had to see her doctor to marry her.
Whoa.
Right. Because there's something in the way she watched things happen between her mother and father that affected her differently than it affected her brother. I'll leave it at that. So, again, I see her even today. I have all the love in the world for her. We parted on good terms as friends. She told me what was going on. She couldn't handle blah, 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 blah. I said, no problem. Yes, it hurt because I loved her. It hurts. No one dies of a broken heart. We moved on. I did whatever she needed. When she needed to move out, I helped her move. I helped her move into a new place. She was scared of the guys who were moving her because it was 3 guys and she's by herself. So I went with her to the new place. I put the furniture together, put the pictures up, gave her a big hug, got the keys. That was the end of it.
That was it. How long did this last?
We were married.
Because y'all didn't just date.
About 6 months.
Y'all got married.
Right. But we were married 6 months. We dated maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Damn. That was just a quick little, you know what? Never mind.
No. It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
I had no ill will to her, but she was honest and she can't handle this. And the person she talked all that about, her ex, is the person she went back to. And I still got great love for him. I got nothing against him. We were cool together, her ex-husband. Well, her back to being husband. We were cool together.
Back to being
Oh,
husband.
that guy's nice, man. He makes big bank, but he's a nice guy. I never had any. Anytime being married. Let's think about it. I'm raising your son when you're in my house. I'm with your ex-wife, who he loves dearly. He really and truly does. He's even told me to my face he does. I've even told him, why don't you go tell her? I'll step out the way. Before we ever got married, I was honest about it. For that, he had great respect. But I still have respect for him because he was an upfront type of guy. I have a respect for people who are upfront. He wasn't trying to win anything. He carried his feelings at that time for her on his sleeve. He was upfront about it. And for that, I was upfront and like, hey, man, look, I'm not here to break up any family. Y'all got a son. I'm game. Go for it. Talk to her. Seriously. I wasn't.
You seem like you're in a really good place in your life to be like that. Because most people are like, nah, like, this is my, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right, but I realized some things. Because at the same time, isn't that where I would like to be? Isn't that this whole wife number 2, wife number 3, wife number 4? I just found the best ever. Seriously. But isn't that where we all strive to be? We just, as a man, there are things we've done. Some we want to remember, some we want to forget. Something we take pride in, some we ain't taking so much pride in. As a man. And then you would like to think the mate you have is perfect for you. There's always, and for women out there, please hear this. There is always going to be a prettier woman, a shapelier woman, a better woman, a richer woman. However men think, however you got, there's a reason for the word temptation on the planet. There is a reason for that. Because no matter what you think you got, there's going to be better in the way of shape and looks. Content is a whole different... You understand where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm,
right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So...
You know the saying, women fall in love with what they hear and men fall in love with what they see? And that's why women put on makeup and men lie?
But that's true.
Yeah.
But that's true. Because even in having a child, men don't fall men like, wow, get caught up in the thought, I love this woman, we're having a child. But they really don't fall in love with that baby like the woman has already fallen in love with that baby until we see it. They've already fallen in love because it's grown inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get anywhere near that until we're like, wow, breathtaking.
Yeah.
That's mine?
Yeah.
Damn. And then you start thinking, damn. I can't be this all the time.
Mm.
Something got to give.
Yeah.
Hence, wife number 3. Religious chick, full of shit like the rest, but nonetheless religious. Had her own with her, like everybody. I'm not taking anything. But she wanted me to be, she treated Olivia different. And I was not going to let anybody separate Olivia and myself. Mm. Now, from Olivia's eyes, I did in some degree. And I have to say from Olivia's eyes. And I'm trying to get her to understand, you got to look at your age and what I was trying to do at the time, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I've talked to non-religious men and religious men with religious families. And all women are the same. They want you to be with their kid. They don't want you to be with your kid. And it goes in that same path of 2 women can't live under the same roof together. And that's even deep for a mother and a daughter. Women have their own sense of how they want. You're about to find it out. I'm living with it to some degree. Okay,
I am in the infancies of what you just said.
Right.
Yes.
But you're going to find out what a woman is about. Yes. As a man that we don't know, you're about to experience. Seriously.
What do you mean?
I used to walk into my daughter's room as she's growing up, watching her cry, bawl even, bawling. I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. Well, who did anything? Nobody. Why are you crying? I don't know. And she's not playing. Mm-hmm. The mixture of emotions, the coming into the hormones, the growth and development in their own body breasts, blah, 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 to so on and so forth. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
So with your third wife, would you say
well,
she
had her own daughters.
Names?
I treated her own daughters well.
Okay, so how many daughters did she have?
She had 2 from her first marriage.
And how old were they when you met her and married her?
Oh my God, I was married to her for 5 years.
I'm just saying, did she have teenagers when you met her, or did she have little kids?
One was teenage. Both were teenagers. One was in middle school, going into high school, and one was going in high school into college. So I taught the oldest one how to drive along with her father. I also took the whole one and put her in college, and I done a lot. The other one, I got her through high school, helped her with the schoolwork, bought her first computer, blah, blah, blah. Again, kids have nothing to do with in my brain. As long as they're respectful, so.
Sure.
Right. I try not to load them up with too much. You know, making sense? Because they have no
that's something that, I applaud my wife for doing, because this is a stupid example or a small example, but like, you don't want to instill the fears and the trauma into your new humans, your children, right? You want to keep them pure and have them live their experience, and you want to help them along the way, right? That's how I'm approaching this. I'm only 3.5 years in. I'm this all new to me, and I'm finally having real. She's 3.5, but I can have real conversations with her about like, oh, why did you grab so and so's hair at school? She got into a little incident. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, she pushed me over. So I was like, well, why did you grab her hair? And she didn't know. She didn't know why.
Hmm.
And
why did you think she grabbed her?
She was frustrated.
Defense mechanism.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm not necessarily. I didn't really know what to say in that situation. I'm like, do I say, good job, or do I say, walk away from her? If someone's treating you poorly, ignore them. You know.
So what did you say?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay. And my statement to you would be a very simple statement. Is that what you felt you could have done? And if I can't figure out anything better to give you, then I don't have anything better to say. I agree with what you've done. But my children have always, even as you're growing up, I give you this advice. When the school calls me for any one of the children, I listen to what everyone in that room has to say. With my daughter, with my sons. And then when I ask my sons, I need to hear what you have to say. My statement is always the same. Excuse us. I take them out the room. There's no pressure now. It's just you and me. And you should know me by now. I just need the truth. I don't give a if you got fed up with this person and decided it's time for me to put my foot in that person's ass. I just need to know the truth. Because the truth is going to tell me how I need to defend you. Mm-hmm. That's all I need to know. Mm-hmm. Well, if with Olivia's case, I had a problem already where the guy touched her ass, and she knocked this guy silly.
Great.
And the parents were unhappy with what she did to the little boy's face. So we got to the school. They want to press charges. They want to do a whole lot of shit.
Oh, wow.
I get it. No, she really did a good job. I was proud of her. I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, when they told me what happened, that she went off into a frenzy and whipped his ass, the guy said, I called her, that's why. And I said, oh, okay. So when it was my turn, I said, okay, I need to talk to you. She was like that. I said, I didn't actually talk to you yet. Excuse us. I need to go. I said, now, bam, I need to know, what's your side of the story? Tell me the truth. And she said, why you put me out the room? I said, because I'm not here to have you intimidated by nobody, and you shouldn't be intimidated by me. I just need to know the truth. She said, truthfully, he grabbed my ass. This is what I said. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know no more than he just grabbed your ass. And I went back in, and I was honest. I said, okay, this is how we can handle this. You can take her up on charges, but at the end of the day, your son grabbed my daughter's ass. So I can take him up, and he can be a pedophile, and as you know, he'll carry that label for the rest of his life for being what do you call it? A predator.
Sex offender.
Right, for the rest of his life. Or we can just make them say, I'm sorry, and drop this as lessons learned.
Was he older than her?
Not by much, maybe a year or a few months. But that's it. They're all in the
But
same
either
age,
way.
same class.
Yeah.
Right. And my statement was, we can just let this go like we learned when we were kids young and just like drop this incident, a lesson learned. He just has to accept, and you do too, that you got your ass whipped by a girl. What are we going to do? And they're like, well, we'll just do this. I said, that sounds good to me. Well, we were thinking about, no. I don't think they need to suspend my daughter. I don't think you need to suspend him either. I think the lesson has been learned. It's over. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay. I'm like, that's the end of it. Okay, you kids get back to school. And that child's father and mother and myself go out to dinner still regularly. Regularly.
Are you kidding me?
Seriously. Because it wasn't about winning a battle. It was by what's done best for these children. Nobody's perfect. Kids are kids. Adults are adults. Let's see what we can do to make this work. That's all I did was make it work. Now that I spoke to what's really happened and how this can really go, my statement was not only that, but I had a solution. How about we just make them say, I'm sorry. We learned something here, like when we were young, and just take care of it right here and it's over with. Because isn't that how it was handled? At least, forgive me because I'm older than you. That's how it was handled when I was younger. You do dumb shit, we handle it here. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. Don't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. That's how it was. Even
And
when
how long ago? How was this recent?
Huh?
Recently?
Oh no, she was in elementary then.
She was in elementary school?
Yeah, teaching my kids how to fight a long time.
Well, that's why she beat his ass. She was probably bigger than him, too.
No, he was bigger.
Well, it doesn't matter.
But I teach my kids how to fight, so they have an advantage. Remember, they have an advantage.
They do. They got Phil as their dad.
I'm not teaching you how to hurt anybody. I'm teaching you how to destroy somebody. Let's get this over with. You're a girl. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. Because if something happened to my daughter, I'm going to look at all the victims. When I see people f***ed up, I'm going to like come right to you. I know she did some damage, so you better tell me everything. Your parents can't help you. I'm telling you, they can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Your father come up here and act tough, I'm telling you. You're going to be
go well.
surprised at what's going to happen. They can't help you. My brain doesn't think that way. It doesn't. Y'all guys are my neighbor, y'all family. But think about when something happens. When your wife comes over my house, she's my sister. She's under my responsibility, your wife and your daughter, when they come to my house. Even when you come to my house, that's how I look at you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to make sure you're safe. No matter what the you follow me into, I'm here to make sure you're safe. End of statement. You get back in your house, my job is done. You get back home in one piece, my job is done. Even if you're stupid enough to go out riding my vehicle and do some crazy shit, when we get pulled over, I'm going to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah.
Right. Even if I'm in your vehicle and I said, man, step on it, and they pull us over. I'm like, yo, dog, it's my fault. It's my fault. And
Will,
like, all right, Phil, you got it.
Phil, you got a certain way with people, man.
No, but they also know me.
No. I mean, I'm talking about this situation, this story you just brought up with your daughter in school and fighting and this.
It's life. I watch everything I'm doing. I'm not great. Everything I am the clone of Frederick Lauriston Blake, my grandfather. I'm his clone.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely. With a small infraction. I actually had to go to high school to go to college. He bypassed high school, went straight to college. That's the small infraction. Brilliant man. He can tell you dates. He can tell you names. He can tell you places. He can tell you everything. He had an iconic memory. He was brilliant. Even though he was black, Jamaican, light-skinned, worked for, and you know how things were thought of back then, and he worked as you could say, a butler for Captain Jackson. You had to understand how he was looked at by this family that I was brought in to know. He was like a god to them, and he worked for them. Whatever he wanted, he got. Under him, I knew what high school, I knew what college, I knew everything I was going to do. No. Serious. I'm very serious. I knew I had a choice of Archbishop Carroll or Archbishop McNamara. I was going to Notre Dame for college.
Mm-hmm. And your mom just came and was like,
disrupted everything, changed all of that.
And that's pretty cool that, we all live this life. We all go down our paths. And even though all that you went through when you were a teenager with your mom and her taking you away from these fantastic grandparents.
But she lied to my grandmother. She lied to me to get us.
Okay, but my point, where I'm going with this,
go with it.
You went down this wild path, and you are who you are, and where you are is because of everything you've experienced. So who knows where you'd be if you went to Notre Dame and didn't have this and didn't go into the military.
Absolutely,
that's wild.
That's a whole different life.
You're like, damn.
And I think about it every once in a while. Right. But I don't make it consumed because that's not the life I have.
It just isn't.
And you know where it all comes from? 2 decisions. Two decisions. One is to actually go with my mother. That's the first one.
You don't got to kiss the mic, but yeah.
I don't know. She's my girl.
Yeah, it gets intimate up in here,
Might teach you something.
Hey.
We don't want to go there. But in the second one, seriously, I would have never been with the boy's mom, had I not made a choice to leave the girl I was with, which was a good girl. She was beautiful. She was shapely. She was sexy as she was young, she was naive. I could have done anything I wanted to do. I had everything. Father's ex-military. Everything was wonderful. And I decided to do one dumbass move. Had I not done that, where would this be? Even just that secondary part. What I have learned in life, just on this little bit we're talking about now, what I've learned. As you're growing up, God puts some very good things in your path. You have the freedom of choice. Sometimes the choice that you made is not the right choice. There was nothing broken for me to fix. Why I did what I did? I fell prey like every other man. That blowjob was amazing.
I mean, hey, we're human.
And when I'm sitting here, and although we're laughing about it,
mm-hmm.
Shallow as it's the truth. That blowjob, that had me my toes curled up. Now,
so you lost me a little bit. So you're talking about your first wife now?
Yeah.
So her blowjob skills were so good.
No, it's just ass. It was just ass.
Yeah.
I have an experienced girl, ghetto chick, versus a non-experienced girl. I was better off.
You're saying you had this girl over here and you had this experienced
chick,
yeah,
who was doing
her. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
And if I was smart, I'd have stuck with what I had because I could have trained her to be anything I wanted in the bedroom as well herself.
Sure.
And she was a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful mom. Beautiful sister. Father just like me. Understood me.
Mm-hmm.
It's no one's fault but my own. I made the most up, but nonetheless, it's a choice that changed the course of everything.
Right. And it's hard to really, like you said, you think about it once in a while because you got 2 sons.
Great sons.
That, sure, you could have had kids with this other woman, and it probably would have been just as amazing because your kids are your kids. But
I don't know. No, because you really don't know.
Well, right. You don't know.
I probably wouldn't be divorced. I might have been with the same person. It's a whole lot of shit you don't know. But it's but it's also in that you have to look at my part of my brain and how I thought. But she also had something that nobody else had. Her father understood exactly everything about me. Understood it to the T. Because even in his drunk, he would look at me and like, I know you can do this. So what we going to do? I'm like, all right, come on, let's go do it. He understood.
What you mean? What do you mean by
Because
that?
some things we would do because he's drunk too. And like, we're in bad weather. Let's drive the home. And I'm like, I know you can do this. I'm like, we're both drunk as shit. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Let's do this. But he understood me because when my brain was thinking a certain way, he understood it.
Yeah.
You understand? Because he'd been through it too. It was nothing uncommon for him. So I left.
Sounds like you had a good.
I had a great rapport with her parents. A great one.
I feel like that's what you missed.
And I f***ed that up. Now, no, absolutely. Listen, no matter what woman, even my first wife, had a great rapport with her grandparents. Her parents were dead. Her father was alive. Had a great rapport with him. He's ex-military. Understood him. Even his drunk stupor he did every single day. He was in Vietnam, dude. He has a whole different history. I understood because helicopters would be coming that I barely heard, that nobody else would hear, and he would jump over the sofa saying incoming. He was living that every day. So I understood. Everyone else laughed. I didn't laugh. I just sat there and drank with them. Like, what do you want to drink now? Because I understood everything. I have no ill will towards him either. Mm-hmm. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
The girl I left, her father, and then the young lady I was talking about with her psychologist had to tell her, yeah, this is the guy you love and everything. I'm good friends with her husband. Back to same thing. I was good with her mother. Her mother actually had a problem with me at a point because her mother fell in love with me. I was within her mother's. I had to sing for young girls, obviously, but I was in her mother's age bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, you're a guy that you exude confidence. You know what you know. You're a presence, brother. Like I feel like when I first met you 5 years ago, dude, man, you're the best, dude. So I'm like, I pull up right to the house. And I'm like, hey, I'm your new neighbor. And you just gave me this smile that you're giving me right now. And you're like,
good to
hey,
meet you.
Man, good to meet you. And you always do the same for all of us in the neighborhood. You gave us the same energy of like peace. Because we all want to live in peace in our neighborhood. Yep. We're a community. And like, that's why.
And in our homes.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
This guy, Satchel, I know his history. Her, I know her history. Down the street, I know their history. Cross her head new, they know my wife. I now know their history. At the end of the day, I know their history. Sophie, I know her history. And the list goes on and on. Even the guy I work with in the FD who's still working, who bought the house, John, I know his history. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to do anything to anybody. This is my family. This is my neighborhood. Everyone here is chill. Everyone knows we're pretty much on the same page in what we like to indulge in and what we don't. But no one's trying to outdo. No one's trying to give up anything. No one's trying to do any harm to anybody. And then I love watching the children. I enjoyed watching you go through your first child and how things went, and then now the second child and how it was a positive delivery. I enjoy every bit of this because I've seen the opposite this too many times, and I enjoy this shit. And then I get to experience it with you guys. Even when you came over like, hey man, I got nothing to do, we got COVID, you want to have a drink? I'm like, let's get up.
Well, nobody had COVID, but yeah,
but
it's COVID. What the fuck are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
None of us got COVID, thank God.
But I got 4 times, bro.
I haven't got it none.
Dude, right. You probably got, you didn't even know. Anyway,
but we
don't
just
have to go there.
But you're working, so I understand it.
Yeah.
Because I got partners still working. And they got it too.
Working, but also I had a child. She got it from school.
Guess what?
Whatever.
It's inevitable. The number one thing, and this is a side note for all new parents, what keeps pediatricians and was it aftercare in daycares is daycares keep pediatricians at work and just children school because they're going to intermingle and they're going to catch from other kids. I don't care because parents got to work and they know their kid is sick. They don't give a shit. I got to work. So y'all. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
It really is. It's not a nice way, but it's very true. Because they got to work. Because they don't get paid. And they can't take that time off like they thought they could because they've taken it off for some things frivolous and some things just having a child. So with that being said,
You ever think that like back in the day, like people just had a ton of kids? First of all, there's no birth control, but second of all, it was just because like to employ your farm. You know what I'm saying? Like back way hundreds of years ago.
dude, people had kids back then because
There were so many kids. Was it just like there's no birth control? We're just
No, it wasn't about that. You have to think of what took over the planet. Number one, what's the number one religion? Catholics.
Christian? Or
Christian,
specific-
however you want to put it.
I don't know.
So aborting a child was not conceived back then. It's here because it's supposed to be here. Now, nobody had thought of the fact it's here because husband is banging the living crap at you at night and no one's saying pull out or condom or it's just shoot and what happens. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, some of it had to do with I need help on the farm. Some of it had to do because they always thought the more children you had, the more blessed you were.
Kids died all the time too, man.
Well,
like not to get too dark, but like, bro, there's no
Think
medicine.
about why they died all the time. If you're banging your sister,
Well, that's
No, I'm
incest.
serious. That's part of it. See, they don't say it's incest that killed a child. They just tell you a child was killed. A child died during birth. That's how they tell you. They don't tell you the rest. But if you're banging your sister, yes. Some is SIDS. SIDS is like a catch-all phrase for a whole lot of shit. Okay?
Right.
And some of it is just the fact that some people are just deformed in whatever happened. It's the fact of life. Even when you married your beautiful wife, you never conceived there'd be a problem the first time around, right? It's part of life. But look at what you got now. You're looking at her with a whole different set of eyes. You're looking at her like she's an she is a miracle because the first one didn't make it this far. You look at her differently. You'll treat her differently. You revere her differently. She'll be raised differently. She'll grow up differently. She'll think different. It's a whole lot of differentlies. None of it, not one of it, is negative.
Right.
Not one.
Well, I have my doubts.
Don't
Doubts of no, it's almost, and this is a good problem to have. So I'm gonna be careful with how I say this, but
Okay.
if she is an only child,
Okay.
I fear that she has too comfortable of a life. Like she has no resiliency. Like, or she'll grow up without like knowing how to get through difficult. And maybe that's just stupid. And maybe the world will give her difficult situations. And then I'm going to help her deal with it if she wants my help. Hopefully that's how it goes. I'm just always cognizant of like, like I want her to take risks. Like this morning, she's on the third or fourth step right down there. She's like, Daddy, I want to jump. I'm like, come on. I'm like, let's go. And she's like, she's like moving her body back and forth and she doesn't know what to do. I'm like, I got you. My hands are here. You're safe. And she starts crying.
Okay.
I'm like, what's going on? Oh, it's okay. What's going on? You're good. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I got you.
Jump.
But she like wouldn't jump.
Then tell her, one step down and jump.
Right.
Because it's not about distance. It's about the jump.
Right.
Tell her to take one step down and jump.
So she ended up jumping.
Oh, right. From the third step? From the third step?
She didn't take a step down, no.
So she did it from the top to the step.
Yeah, it was like fourth step.
There you go.
I'm like, all right, but I was like right here. I was like,
it doesn't
come on.
matter.
It's okay. Let go. Jump. I got you. I'm right here.
Okay.
And she jumped.
Okay.
And then she kind of like started crying again at the bottom. I'm like, damn, this emotional kid. My wife and I are emotional. I'm like, but my point is that like I feel like I want to see her take risks, man.
Didn't she just take a risk?
She did.
So then why you say you want to see her when she just did?
Well,
you have to acknowledge.
I'm being too like critical. But like, there are other times, and she's just young. Maybe that's what it is. But the other times we'll bring her to gymnastics.
She took the risk. You're missing the point that you actually wanted. You got what you wanted. Yeah. Does distance matter?
No.
She took the risk.
No.
And that is what you were looking for. And she did it. Be proud of the fact she's 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's 3.
Yeah.
She took the risk knowing you got me. The fear made her cry. Not the risk, the fear. Cry or not, she had enough confidence in you to say F it anyway and do it.
Yeah. I love that. That's my favorite part right now.
Right.
Of like go out, like ride your bike. I got you. She rode her bike down and she fell.
Do you realize?
I'm like, great. You
father to father.
You're okay. Yeah.
Do you realize you can never fail in that?
Being a father?
No. Being there when she expects you to be. I listened to PJ, my oldest son, although he's on whatever planet he's on now. I listened to him make a statement one day. And the teacher's the one who told me, because she said to him, I'll take you home, blah, blah, blah. I was a little late. He was the one who made the statement to the teacher. If my father said he'll be here.
Go ahead, brother.
If my father said he'll be here, he'll be here. It's that assurancy that they have the confidence, all the confidence in the world to say, I know he'll be here. And that teacher said, and I said, hey, he might not. And you came around the corner in the truck and picked him up. And his statement is, my father said he'll be here. He'll be here. You have to make them know. You have to make them know that my word is bond. If I promise you something, I will destroy myself to make sure I keep that promise. It's the joy of being a father. Yeah. Is it emotional? Yeah. I've shed many tears knowing that I did it. I did it. Why the not? I come from a background where my mother made 1 million promises, kept not one. Not one. My grandparents never made any promises, but they kept every one of them. They didn't make any. Think about the statement. But they kept every one of them. Every one of them. I never went. I never thought. I never needed. I never nothing that they didn't give, supply, or were there for. They were there for everything. Everything. Even in trying to teach me how to clean my penis, they were there for everything. I'm not playing. That's a big deal. This is your daughter. I don't give a fuck that you're a man and she's a woman. Be there for everything. Everything. Miss nothing. It's the greatest joy on the planet to watch them grow. It is.
Bro, it is the best blessing, man. And I always thought that was like such a dramatic, being dumb and naive in my 20s. Like people be like, oh yeah, my kid's such a blessing, this, that, and the other. And you don't know until you have a kid. Yeah. You don't understand when people say this is a blessing, you don't get it until you have one. Yes. There's really no other feeling.
Especially
it's
under
like
the circumstances.
Every other thing
is a woman you want to marry, and you married her. And it's a whole different life. Understand? Yeah. Oh, is you pregnant? You sure I'm the father? Type of shit. It's a whole different thing. It is. Sure,
because I only know one type of thing. That's what I did.
Exactly.
But even if your relationship with that mother is garbage,
be the right guy.
You have this boy, girl, whatever of I don't understand when people are like when people like your dad, you never met your dad, man.
Now, like here's one spot. Yes. But my mother also told me they came back when they when she told him and he told his family that he had a child with her. They took him back to the embassy and took him back to Libya. That's it.
Wait, what?
Yes. You have to understand religion too. I'm not mad at him. I just know that he's not a true man. Because a true man, religion ain't going to stop me from knowing who the is this child that's mine. If he mine, if I don't like, I ain't got to like you. I'll take you. I'll take him from you, raise him. No disrespect to you. And if I'm unable to do so, Like if it's a girl, I expect you to raise her because I don't know how to be a woman. Just like I don't expect any woman to know how to be a man. But I'll do whatever necessary. What you need. Child support, you don't have to fight me. I'll give you whatever you need. Take me to court so you know it's legal. I don't give a f***. You're not hurting me. It's my privilege to take care of my child. But beyond that, what do you need? Seriously? Yeah. She didn't get here by herself, and I didn't think you were such a bad woman that I laid with you, so I expect you to raise her to be a good woman. And whatever the f*** you need, I'm here. I went through a battle with my daughter's mom. We are friends now. I've always been that way. For whatever the f*** she thought, I don't have anything against her. I wasn't ever going to take Olivia from her. That's not my joy. I've raised kids that are not, no kid enjoyed that. Not one. Over here, over there. None.
Enjoyed what?
Enjoyed over here, over there. Like I go see my dad and I go see my mom.
Yeah.
Right. Do you understand the uncomfortable feeling they have in any presentation they have at school and both show up?
Mm-hmm.
The woman. Myself. Understand the kid. What will they do? How will they act? What will my friends think? Socialite, right? Right. But to see me walk over to her mom, bring a chair to her because there's no chairs around, and I grab two and make sure she gets one and sit down, even though I sit on the other side of the gymnasium, but brings one to her mom. So she's like, why do you do that? I'm like, forgive me for all the nasty things I said about your mom. They're true, but forgive me because I should have never said them. And second of all, the reason why I do that, because she's your mom. I don't have to like her to show her respect. She's your mother. And if I'm going to teach you to respect her, regardless of how I feel, I have to live by what I teach. I cannot look at her and tell her I love her and tell her I hate her mom, which she is the other half of. My statement is when she makes her statements, I'm very clear. I've never hated your mom. I loved your mom. I didn't know your mom, and that's the part that put fear in me. Not knowing another person and having time, and then having your mother lie to me, and she didn't have to. And I'm upfront about what the lie was. Other than that, I've always been nice to your mom. When your mom was doing all of this, and then you gave me custody every time, I always did joint. Your mom was after something I don't understand. Your mom says, I don't know why she don't trust me. But at the end of the day, it no longer matters. It's been too long to make a difference to carry. I forgave your mom, not for your mom, for me, so I can move on. My feelings to you is I know Angela did you wrong. Forgive her. Not for her, for you, so you can move on. It's life. There's going to be many nasty things come around. It's life.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, that is very powerful because my wife has her parents are in a unique situation, which I don't want to go into. I know you've spilled all your information, all your personal. Her parents basically aren't together. Okay. But they have lived together. Okay. And what you just said about I don't love your mom, but you love your mom, so I'm going to treat her a certain way.
With respect, that's right.
Is like, oh man, that's powerful because that's what I've seen.
But you can't say you don't love her. How can I say I love you and you're half of your mom? Okay. I gotta love your mom. So I'm honest. At the time of yes, I loved your mom.
Yeah,
I still do, but I don't have the love I have of her before. I don't trust her, and here's why. So when she says, mom doesn't trust you, I'm like, ask her, okay, why? She can't tell me why. Only you can tell me why. I'm like, right, I don't have anything to hide. But that doesn't mean your mother's wrong. Your mother's feeling is void. It just means it's life.
Yeah.
I can only accept with another. It's two of us. I can't think for you. I just have to accept what you do, whether good or bad or indifferent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying. Go ahead.
Oh, that was kind of it. Like, I don't want to go too far down that. I'm just saying, like, the way you just talked about your daughter's mom is kind of how I feel like my wife's parent situation is. It's very unique, and
it has
it's they're not
to do with you.
Exactly. That's why I don't want to talk about it, brother.
No.
I'm just
I get it, but you know how many religious people I know? Religious. I live over here. She lives over here. We're not. So let me get this straight. She gets all your benefits. She gets everything. Still, as your wife. No wifely duties. Y'all aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But she lives here, so you can't date another woman because you're married to her. She can't, and she's okay with that because she don't want to get no dick, no how, or however it's working. And you're okay as a man, because I'm a man. I know me. If I'm not, you're setting me up to fail, because I'm eventually, the monster in me is going to take over. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So how is this benefiting us? And then you've been separated for how long? Oh, we've been separated for 20 years. So let me get this straight. Your children are grown. You still separated. What the you might as well go get divorced now. She gonna get half of everything anyway. But at least you can move on. At least you can get a blowjob, something, because men are men. Let's be honest about that. No disrespect to any man out here who doesn't want to do a damn thing. That's your problem. Yeah. But men are men. But what? No. I've seen a lot of people do that, and still I have no query. As a matter of fact, my ex-wife, Angela, took me through that shit. I don't want to divorce you. I love you. But I have no benefits and stuff without you, so, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting over here like, wait, what? So my statement was, okay, you want me to pimp myself for your benefit. Well, hold on. We can work this out. I'm okay. Seriously, I'm okay. I won't up anything. I'm okay. You come over here 3 or 4 times a week and tighten me up. We can work this out. You can stay on my benefits. I'm serious. 3 or 4 times a week. You got to give up that ass.
3 or 4 times a week?
3 or 4 times a week.
At
the very least. 3 or 4 times a week, you got to give up that ass. The way that sorry, that's just how it is. But I was honest, because you're asking me to stay married to you. You get everything, and I don't get nothing. I pay for you to have benefits. I pay for you to have a ring on your finger. I pay for you to have the title, but I don't get just the bills. No. I know I'm a monster. I know who I am in the bedroom. Not anything great. My whole family's that way. My sister the shit out of her husband. He's screaming like a and the rest of us do the same. It's what it is. My brothers and I all talk about that. We are like our whole family. We love. Remember, I got a woman 20 years my younger.
Dude, let's go there. Let's go to the present Phil, the happy. Dude, I see y'all, and I'm like, I'm just happy. Because I met you before you were, like, in the situation you're in now.
Yeah.
Dude, tell me about when the did you meet her?
I originally met Dee Dee back in 2009, 2010. I met her. We were just chilling. We just started. I was like, damn, she's so pretty. And I went and spoke to her. And we talked. And we hit it off. Mm-hmm. And then we just started going out together. And I would pick her up and we would go out because she was staying up here at the DoubleTree, I think the Triple Tree or whatever it is. Right here. At the time, I think it was something different. I think it was the Holiday Inn or the Days Inn at the time before it changed over to the Triple Tree. And we would just go out. One thing led to another. And I'm just looking at, and remember, when I met my wife, and for all those who don't know my wife, but when I met my wife got some big teddies. She's Dominican, Mom and dad are both Dominican. She got big teddies, nice ass, nice shape, nice, real pretty girl. But when I met her, she didn't have them teddies. She was very slender. She was 110 pounds, maybe 120 pounds.
Dee.
Beautiful. She was a model. She hadn't had a child. She was fine. Now, to her cause, in the dating cause and going out, she did tell me she had taken whatever birth control that she was not on it. In my mind, at point it gets to a point, sometimes you don't give a fuck. And I didn't give a fuck. I really was digging her, though. It wasn't give a fuck because I didn't give a fuck about her. It was give a fuck. If she had a child, I was happy about that shit if she had a child. So I didn't we hit it off. Dude, out of anybody I've been with, she understood. Because when I first met her and she was asking me, tell me things about yourself, I told her, I have severe PTSD. I don't lash out at any woman, but I am very combative in my sleep. And if people hit that button in the street, even I'm liable to kill them. That's in my normal conversation. I just want to kill people. And I was honest. But she was like, oh, you just need some good love. And believe it or not, she loved the fuck out of me. She did. She was a good one. We had fun together. There was no negative. She understood my mind because she was a psychologist at the same time. So we would have these beautiful talks. And after a while, those talks would turn to hugs and kisses. And after a while, those hugs and kisses turned to, I'm watching her ride my dick. So, but no disrespect to her, it was wonderful because it would go for days on end. It really would. It would go for days on end. I never said to nobody. She was just she was my top secret.
Yeah,
brother.
Let's go. We got to finish it off. It's right here.
Oh, we can finish it off.
So,
she was my top secret. But in all of that, and we exchanged numbers when she told me she had to go back. She was honest. She always told me she was only here for a period of time. So we exchanged numbers. Everything was wonderful. But somewhere in her moves and somewhere in mine, I cannot say I didn't. I lost the number. It wasn't on purpose. It's just what the paper, you have paper in your pocket. You toss it like you do anything else. You're not thinking about it. And somehow I fucked it up. I didn't that night, but somewhere along the line I did. And I know my mistake. I should have put it in the phone immediately, but I did not. And so, and her story is her story about she lost the information from me. Fast forwarding, 8 years later, a friend of mine who I was banging on the side periodically because she was newly divorced, her sister, who hates Lebanese, hates it out of the blue, just because we were at the African American Museum. So I'm like, all right, I go. I've never been there, so I'm like, okay, I go. And her sister says, I want to eat some Lebanese food. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought you hate Lebanese. She said, I don't know. I just have a taste for Lebanese food. Seriously. So I'm like, well, I know where there's this Lebanese restaurant closer to where we live because her sister lives in Greenbelt and she lives in Silver Spring like us. So I said, okay. And when I went there, it had moved. It wasn't where it was. Originally, it was where the little fountain in downtown Silver Spring where the water shoots out and the kids can play in it?
Yeah.
Right where you know what I'm talking about.
Downtown.
Where Mesa and all that is upstairs. Right. It was right there. So I'm like, oh, hold on, let me see where they were. So I found out they just moved on the corner of Fenton and Dahmer. So I'm like, all right, let's go there. Walked in the restaurant. Seriously. Walked in the restaurant. There she is. A little different, so I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like her. She's a little heavier. She's not 110 pounds. So we talk. When it's my turn, my friend's order, my turn, I look at her and I'm like, I think I know you. And she says, yes, you do. What's your order? And I'm like,
you.
I want you. She's like, what happened? I said, I lost your number. I said, what happened? She said, I lost yours. I'm like, what's your number now? And we exchanged all that before I ordered. I don't even remember what the I ordered. She just brought me some food. And I spoke to her that night after I left the restaurant. And we were together every day. I would literally drive in the morning and pick her up. She was in the apartment on the other, literally. Here's the apartment she lived in. It was on this end of the block. Same block the restaurant. She's on right there, right there at the other end of the block. She just has to walk from apartment to store, the restaurant. She's on one end of the block.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick her up in the morning and drive her there. And pick her up in the afternoon, and we would go out and get something to eat and just talk for hours. And then I would take her back. It just got to a point when I said, I'm not ready for this shit anymore. I can't handle this shit. I miss you. When you coming back? She said, I'll come back. You really want me to move in with you? I said, absolutely. And she did. And then she told me prior to that, she said, I have to tell you something. You have a son. And I said, I have a who? You have a son. I said, I know I don't. She said, yeah, I did. I got pregnant. And I remembered. I'm not negating it. I remember the day because she told me she was no longer on birth control.
You told me. You just
and
told
I
me
didn't
when you
give
first
a
mentioned
fuck.
it.
I didn't care. It's not like I shot. How can I say this nicely? It's not like I came in her like once. I came in her quite a few times. You have to know my sex habits. Yeah. Even my wife is 20 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. She's very straightforward. Okay, I need you to do this within this period. I can't be up all night doing this shit because I will do this from one sundown to the next sunrise. I enjoy but I'm not saying that like I'm any type of. My whole family's that way.
You said, my sister.
My poor brother-in-law screams like a because my sister is the liver come right out of his loose. But we are seriously.
Yeah.
Mike, you gotta remember.
Hey, that's strong reproductive.
I'm gonna make a statement. So here's the statement,
bro. That's all we do. We eat and we procreate.
Right.
What else do we do?
But I'm 20 years older than my wife. So here's the statement.
You are 63 and you're still.
Right. But my wife is 4. Right. I'm 64. My wife is 44. My statement is, my wife's statement is straightforward. She said, hey, when we first started seeing these and getting sexual, she said, I don't want to be responsible for putting an old guy in the hospital. That's her statement. And now her statement to her family is, this nigga's killing me. Yes, I said the N-word on radio, but I am black, so yeah. But she said that. She said, he's killing me. He don't ever stop. He don't get tired.
So I'm trying to, so in 2009, 2010, where were you when you met her?
I was in the same house I'm in now, here.
Okay, but like, where was she?
She was saying what we know is a double tree.
You just kind of lost connection with her.
No, right. We lost information on paper.
Interesting. So you hooked up. Was it just one night, or was it
it was a period of weeks? It was a few weeks before she left the area. She was just traveling.
So where did she go? That's what I'm curious.
She was
how
just
did
traveling.
You guys lose that? Like,
because I lost the information she had.
No, I get that, but she was traveling. So right, still modeling. She wasn't like modeling.
Still modeling.
Forgot about that.
But this was more of a vacation for herself. She was out just enjoying herself, just getting away, some time off, seeing something more than the Dominican Republic. Okay. She'd been quite a few places. Mm-hmm. Seriously, she had. Mm-hmm. Even just doing the modeling, she did quite a few places. So with all of that, that's how it started. And then we lost track. And then here she comes back. Now, what I appreciate and respect of her is she was very upfront about, I'll pay if you want to have a DNA test, so you know I'm not lying to you. And I'm like, no, it's not nothing necessary. I can do this all for free. And I did. Now, somewhat behind her back, but not. I took him one day to the doctor, a friend of mine, and say, listen, I need you to do a DNA test on him. And Bruce remembers. He says, I remember they swab in my mouth and blah, blah, blah. I said, right. That's for this. And they said, he's yours. I was like, that's all I need to know. Mm-hmm. I kept the paper long enough to get his residency. Once I got his because the way the law works, excuse me, it's the guy that's proclaiming to be his father, which is not, but the way the law works, he's been taking care of him for X amount of years. He's the one. And I even, when they went for everything going on, I put in there, and she put in there, hey, if you're willing to let him go, I'll assume all responsibility. Because of how he's pissed off at her, he was like, F you.
I'm getting a little lost here. Who are you talking about right now?
Her ex-husband.
Right. So she is traveling. She
the
hooks
real
up
father.
with you. Right. Whatever. She's traveling. She's living her life. She gets married.
She got married a long time ago. She was getting divorced from this guy. They were in the divorce papers had already been put in the mix when I met her. It was just funny. It's just how timing is. Nothing on her part, nothing on my part. It's just how God planned it. Seriously. So she had already put the paperwork in, and it's just the right time when I walked in, and this is what she was going through. And she even told me, "I don't want you to go through this. I understand." I'm like, no. Especially after I found out Bruce is my real son, and I tried to talk to him. He's a little bit of a so couldn't do that. He just ran every time he runs. Even in court, every time I approach him, he shakes. And I'm like, I don't have anything against you. I'm trying to let you off the hook. You don't have to have any responsibility. But his hatred towards her oversees his cognitive thought. So with all of that said, because I was with him in the last court hearing, I'm like, dude, they can really f you. But he's not the father. The DNA test already proved that. I'm not. But the way the law works is I cannot just take over. It doesn't work like that because he's been taken care of. And I have a friend of mine in the FD who's gone through that, who have raised these boys for X amount and then found out he is not the father of those children, those two boys. The mother did some despicable shit on purpose. And the court said it doesn't matter. The real father doesn't get a say so. You're the father. So I put the papers in for adoption, so I will have them. But that's the best I can do, according to the law. But the paperwork in the court also showed that DNA proves I am his biological father. So after I got his, what do you call it?
So this other man has been raising Bruce?
No.
Or no?
D has been raising Bruce.
Yeah, because she's like, I don't.
Right, the guy has been
interested.
nowhere around anyway. He ain't been.
All right, but sorry, I was just trying to follow the whole adoption / whatever the. I'm just curious.
Trust me, I've learned some shit I don't want to learn.
Yeah. But honestly, man, in any case,
the best I can do for my own child, is adopt him before he turns 18. But at the end of the day,
but that's what I'm trying to understand. Trying to understand it. You have to adopt Bruce?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the way the law works, the person taking care of him for the X amount of years,
which was
this particular guy.
Okay, I get it.
Is considered his father.
Okay.
For X amount of years. No disrespect to him. I don't have any ill will.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
any ill will.
Of course.
But if B had stayed with him, he was training him to be an idiot. When I got my son, he was an all F student. D's and F is all the he ever got. Because this guy was training him to be what he is, which is at the second a low-rate hustler. Seriously.
Trying to cheat the system type.
Even I asked D, what made you think to get with this? She said he had a good game. I thought he was real. I found out he was fully. I said, okay. At the end of the game, this is where it is right now. I have him. He's a straight A student. It took a while. Trust me, and D will attest to this. It took several nights, weeks, months of sitting down, talking to him, getting him to understand the basics of math, reading, so on and so on and so forth. It took a real father to sit the down. He went from F's and D's to his first report card with me, straight A's. Everyone in the house, including me, cried. He was emotional. Proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
He was hurt. Because in his brain, he didn't think he was anything. In my brain, here's a kid who can tell me everything in detail about Pokemon. Pokemon. But in extreme detail. I'm like, if you can do that, you're not no idiot. No way in hell. And I'd use that to build his confidence. When he brought his first report card, he's been flying high ever since.
When he brought his first what?
Report card.
Yeah.
He's been flying high ever since. Whatever he has problems in, he will look at me and say, Dad, I don't understand this. And the beautiful part is, Olivia a lot of times pop in and say, oh, I had that already. Come here, let me tell you what to do. And bam. His sister got him too. He has all the support he needs right in the house. Because Olivia, remember, is a straight A student. She'll be in the 12th grade next year, and she has absolutely no classes in 12th grade or high school. She'll be in college.
She's in 12th grade, but she graduated essentially?
Well, she has all the credits necessary
right.
for graduation and beyond. She's also taking college credits this year. So next year, she'll just be going straight to Maryland every day. She won't go to high school, but every now and then to check in.
She's going to College Park in her senior year of high school?
That's her senior year.
Damn, you must be proud, man.
I'm very proud.
Yeah.
But Bruce, on the other hand, uses that as a stepping stone, a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
I can be like my sister. And Olivia's statement is, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of her for never, ever making him feel like he can't. All she ever did was ask me, Dad, is this really my blood brother? Or is this, I'm like, let me tell you the story. So I never lied. I told her the truth. That's all she needed. Mm-hmm. Even Brandon, I told the truth. This is your blood brother. This is what's going on. The people that matter.
Let me ask you, I'm curious. You have two sons that are, you said 35 and 33?
35 and 33.
Just to make a big pivot. Love all that, by the way.
Right.
But I think about this a lot, and having a kid has really changed my relationship with my parents.
Uh-huh.
I have no trauma, man. I grew up in a neighborhood like this.
Okay.
In Gaithersburg.
Okay.
With two parents that are still together.
Okay.
Right? It's, boring story, right?
Okay.
But like, I feel like my parents, I appreciate my parents more now.
Mm-hmm.
And, having adult children that are 35 and 33, like, how is that, like, these are your baby boys and you see them grow up all these stages. Like, what's that relationship like with a full adult person? They're not children. You're not here to really, they might call you for guidance.
Let me hit you up. They're not under the same circumstances you're talking about. Remember, they're in the circumstances where I'm over here. Those two boys were the essential of me buying this house I live in. Because we were looking at this house when the realtor was looking, we thought, at another house up the street. And we were like, we don't like that one. We like this one. Those two boys were the ones who said, yeah, if I live in this house, I'm buying it because I need to get away from where your mother, because she's coming over to the townhouse I was renting not far from her mother, but she would come over all the time and causing problems. So I figure if I go in another county, won't be a problem. Now, with that, she gets custody of the boys because I'm moving them from PG to Montgomery. Not going to allow me to do that. They're going to do what's best for the boys, what they've been in. Doesn't matter if schools are better. This is just how it is in court. They understood it. I explained it to them in detail. I understood. With all that said, I moved out here, and it was nice. And the boys understood that, and they loved it out here. But after a while, remember, where you live the most is the influence that you're going to have over you more than anything else.